Everyone. I want to share with you a dream that I had recently. This is the end of December of 2015. I had first of all, I had a strange situation that happened to me. I had been fasting, and it was the first day that I had decided to fast. I went to a store nearby, a supermarket, and when I was walking in, I noticed that there was a woman on the left side of me, and she was very thin and very frail. And this woman was about to enter the store. I went in the store. I shopped for a very long time. I was in the store, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes or more. And the woman was, I guess, shopping. When I went to the checkout, there was a woman in front of me at the line, and I noticed that that same woman, who was very frail looking, and she appeared to be very advanced in age. She was very wrinkled, and she was in the front of the line. And as she was getting ready to check out, she was giving the woman, the cashier, a handful of change. The cashier looked at it and said to the woman, "You don't have enough money." And she said, "Yes, I do. Look, it's 75 cents." And the woman said, "No, the 75 cents is the cost of the tuna that's underneath. The salmon is, I believe it was 269." So I decided, let me go pay for her stuff. I handed the cashier some money and told her to just give her back the money and, the change she gave you. The lady kept blessing me and thanking me. I walked away. I didn't think much of it. I came home. And that night I had two dreams. One of my dreams was that I was in a banquet hall. I could barely recognize the voices. I couldn't really see anybody's faces, but I realized there was a lot of people, and some of them were my family members. I glanced over at a table they had on the left side. There was many different kinds of foods and delicate pastries and breads and things. I looked at the table. I turned around, and a woman immediately said to me, "Oh, go have something to eat." Immediately I turned around very quickly. All the food on the table had disappeared. It was a very long table. And I noticed a very small table on the side, and there were only a few items, a few pieces of food left for anyone to consume. After I had that dream, immediately before awakening, I have another dream. And in this dream, I was driving down the street, and it was a very short distance, and there was basically like a stop sign, or and I knew that I had to turn. I saw a crossing guard that had a warning, one of those yellow fluorescent vests, and he was waving his hands frantically, like warning me there was something coming up. I turned to the right, and there was a woman who had one of those shopping carts, and she had flipped over, and she had all this food on the floor. And there was two or three people helping her pick up the food, but when they would pick it up, it would disintegrate in their hands. So I had gone over to her and tried to do the same, tried to help her put the food back into her little shopping cart. And as I did that, the food would disintegrate. And so I looked at her, and she was holding a very small dog, very tiny. And I said to her, "Oh, what a beautiful little dog you have." And she said, "Yes." And I looked underneath, and the rib cage, I could see he was just skin and bones. And I said to her, "Wow, he's very thin." And the woman said to me, "I can't feed him enough." And I woke up, and I was contemplating what was that. And then I remembered the woman in the store, and the woman whose groceries had spilled over looked exactly like the lady that I had seen in the store. There was a lot of similarities. And all of a sudden, parable came to my mind, and I said, "What is a parable?" I kind of knew, but I wasn't sure. And so I researched it, and I realized that God had given me a parable with the lady at the supermarket. I believe the interpretation of the dream was given to me, and I believe that the interpretation is this. The parable at the store represented people not having enough money to purchase the items that they need. All she had was 2 cans, and she didn't have enough money for 2 cans of salmon. Then the dreams represent how quickly famine is coming. It's coming quickly. It's coming not only to the United States, I believe it's coming worldwide. The food that had disappeared from the banquet tables, and there was very few left, it showed me that just like that, just as quickly as I turned around, it was gone. And then the second dream, which represented me coming up to the intersection where I would turn, the man was warning. The vesture he wore, the vest was a warning vest, and him frantically telling me that there was a warning, there was something up ahead, meant that it would be really soon. And the fact that when I turned to the right, immediately right there was when I encountered the woman who had the spilled food on the floor. And the fact that she said that she couldn't feed her dog enough represents that we will not have enough. I think that God is amazingly awesome, and He is showing those people who heed the warnings of others, not just myself, who are preaching that there's a coming famine. I would encourage you to save food and water, not only for yourselves, but also for other people whom you might have to help when that time comes. I pray that this message will reach all the people that it needs to reach according to the word of Yahweh, our living God. And I pray that you will be touched by this video and that you will share it. I thank Him and Him alone, because all the glory belongs to Him. And I thank you, Yahweh, and I thank you, Yeshua. Amen.